Hello fellow anime geeks, welcome to my seasonal highlights. This 2020 spring season was sequel heavy, and between all of the necessary delays and my critical rubric, only 8 anime series premieres made it through to my personal watch list through completion, and out of those I'm really only excited to share 3 with y'all. Let's begin with the obvious choice in the fantasy category, Tower of God. Interestingly enough, this season didn't feature much in the way of fantasy and instead selected to use the fantasy setting for different genres. ShachiBato brought us the slice of life comedy about business management based on a strategy RPG, blending I don't even know how many genres I just said. It was cute, calm, and funny, with the kind of easy, lighthearted mood that reminded me of BOFURI from last season. Hachi-nan decided not to focus on its isekai mechanism or even really mention it, at all, but instead focused on the actual long-term consequences of being in a fantasy world. Equal parts isekai parody and social commentary on class-based societies, it also managed to include a few action scenes, friendship, romance, and a fun protagonist success story. But whether or not there was much in the way of competition, Tower of God was clearly a cut above the rest. I don't even know where to begin raving about this story. It is unique and solid, and each element in this show supports each other excellent element in this show. An example is the character component. Our protagonist is perfect, and I'll talk to that in a bit, but the supporting characters really shine in this anime because they are introduced with as much care and time as our main character. Their motivations and backstories are equally fleshed out, and this helps carve out the history and rules of this world, which is what I find most impressive. This is a completely new magic system. No elves, wands, or supernatural ties to our modern world. It is a new creation with biblical allusions where everything is based on a substance called the Water of God. Because of this, I feel actual wonder for this world and how it works, which in turn is supported by the show's expert exposition. We, the audience, are never given too much at once. We aren't immediately given all the backstory so that we feel rushed or uninterested. We aren't given a manual on midichlorians or Shinzu such that all fun and mystery is gone. We are given just enough through our protagonist questioning and supporting character circumstances to understand the driving action. We journey through our protagonist Bam as he explores this world, which is exactly what the writer intended. Link to a good interview below. And since we are journeying as him, our protagonist has to be worthy and relatable. Bam is a chosen one character type with powers and connections neither he nor the audience fully understand in the beginning of his journey. He is of sound and good character, has a clear and relatable goal, and is driven by gratitude and kindness. And we need such a pure foothold to navigate the crazy twists and turns of this plot, which is a believable and natural outcome to the charged clash of motivations, but man, wholly unexpected development, Batman. I don't think a show has taken me for this much of a brilliantly designed ride since Yakusoku no Neverland. Drama and comedy blended seamlessly in multiple anime this season to become the strongest represented genre, so this is my best attempt at trying to separate the two. First up, drama. Arte was a charming little seinen that took the accomplish your dreams storyline to the Italian Renaissance. Add a motivational angle of defying gender stereotypes and a healthy dose of respectful romance, and you got yourself a sweet story. But the surprising standout drama this season, in my opinion, is Yesterday o Tate. No tricks, no gimmicks, just a simple story of a man who doesn't feel like he is enough. The art reflects this realistic storyline with jagged pencil-like lines and natural textures. The color palette is dark and muted to reflect the mood and nighttime vistas our protagonist sees when he gets off the evening shift at a convenience store. But it naturally and inconspicuously lightens in select moments to emphasize the bright importance of certain plot points. Likewise, the music and sound are seamlessly integrated such that I don't recall the BGM for this show and can only remember the uncomfortable silence of certain scenes. This show also opts out of an opening song and instead sets the mood with title shots. Thus, the art creates a charged mood that directs our attention to each of the characters' decisions and feelings. We deal with self-worth, loss, selfishness, and love through the interaction of the 4 central characters in this anime. Now, perhaps I'm exposing my naive and geeky nature here, but I believe that stories can change you. They can teach you understanding, offer self-reflection, and sometimes give you a cathartic outlet for pent-up emotions. Not only did yesterday Utatte make me think, I feel like my faith in making an effort and human relationships has been restored. At least a little bit after watching it. The net for comedy was cast wide this season to include a raw dramedy and a sweet rom-com. In fact, HameFura was more than a rom-com. With an isekai backdrop and an Otome Game plotline, it also included both the harem and the reverse harem roots. It was heartwarming, fun, and hilarious, but it's not in the top 3 because even I cringed a bit at the last acquisition, and I know that reverse harems aren't for everyone, just like I can't help but roll my eyes every time we stop the plot for a new girl to fall in love with shield hero. In my preliminary rankings, I had set Nami o Kiitekure as number 1. It's a raw, in-your-face, fast-talking seinen about a woman trying to get over a disastrous breakup. She finds passion in radio and has many a bizarre encounter in her life that rival the bizarre settings in her radio show. I just couldn't get enough of our protagonist's torrential, witty dialogue. But one of the setups halfway through kind of lost me. A couple of the side stories seemed contrived and written simply for shock factor, and the ending felt rushed. I will say that the central story had some good closure. But it's not surprising that the anime that would steal my heart this season was written by a master of comedy, Kumeta Koji sensei. Also doling out the gags at an uncontrollable pace but contrasting comedy with darkness to create heart like only he can is his new adaptation, Kakushigoto. You know when you watch the first scenes of a show and instantly love it? This show begins with a brilliantly tense mood that makes us think, wait, I thought this was a comedy. Then it breaks the fourth wall to include the audience in a hilarious three-way pun that employs comedic relief to make the resulting laughter even sweeter. Our protagonist's daughter asks us if we have a Kakushigoto, which can have several meanings, but here I'll just translate as secret. She explains that her father's secret is a Kakushigoto, or a hidden job, and we cut to a flashback where her father's name is displayed, and it's Kakushigoto. I won't ruin any more of the jokes here because otherwise I'd be spoiling the whole show and all of the brilliant techniques that it uses in order to elicit laughter. I'll instead explore the mechanisms themselves to give you an idea of the intelligence of this writing. I laughed from nervous relief, from relatability, from self-reflection, from slant observations on society, from well-timed repetition, from the increasing discordance of conversation, from disparate meanings, from innocent interpretations, from not-so-innocent interpretations, from plays on words, from the author's self-deprecation, from the ineptitude of power, and most often, from love. Each joke is lovingly crafted because Kumeta-sensei seems to understand that real, unabashed laughter stems from a place of love, and not at the expense of another. The topics of his jokes in this story cover parenthood, the innocence of children, hard work, friendship, and support. The two timelines in this show also act as the perfect frame for these topics. The bright childhood of a girl whose dad is hiding his work as an ecchi mangaka, and years later when the girl is a teenager finding out about her father's secret life. This contrast is genius in multiple ways, but it helps root the abundant gags and allows for a heartwarming ending that made me cry like neither of the dramas this season. And yet, the end was as much of a joke itself as it was an ending to a touching story. And on that happy note, I'll catch up with y'all in a couple of days to start the 2020 summer season. Oh my gosh, that looks delicious. Oh, this is awkward. Never let you go, never let you go.